Hello and welcome to this episode of Celebrity Big Brother Reunions. Now, this one was one of my favourites and funniest to film. We have Dee, star of Benefit Street, we have Geordie Shore's Ricci, and we have Kellie Maloney. And honestly, this one, they just get on so well. There was so much banter. It was brilliant to have them on. So I hope you enjoy this episode. If you do, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you missed the last episode with Mr. Perez Hilton, Jasmine Waltz and Angie Best, then check it on the link description below and enjoy. Welcome to this Celebrity Big Brother reunion special. And this one's different to the ones that we filmed so far because the three people we got were in the same series together. So let's say hello to Dee, the Duchess of Solihull. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Lewis. I'm still posh. I'm still living my role as the Duchess.
Amazing. And then we've got Ricci, Geordie Shore legend. How are you?
How you doing, son? Yari?
And we've got Kellie Maloney. Thank you so much for coming on today. So we had quite a laugh before we came on, but talk about Big Brother. It was such an explosive series. You're in there with Gary Busey, who, I mean, Dee, he rubbed you up the wrong way, it's fair to say.
You know, he rubbed everyone up the wrong way. The bloody, am I allowed to use pervert?
I actually really liked him. I think he was a really nice guy. Did you not think
taking
that?
the piss? You know, maybe you didn't float his boat.
He was the most unhygienic person I've ever come across in my life.
He shit himself.
It's like, I mean, I've never seen a 70-year-old Willie in my life, but lo and behold, end up in Big Brother, and then I get to experience a 70-year-old Willie.
It's the only Willie I've seen since I've transitioned.
Oh, Kelly, don't make me laugh. Is that what made you make the final decision, Cal?
And that's what made me decide that I can't have a man in my life.
Shut up. You know fine well, Kelly, if I said I'll give you my D, you'll take it straight off. You know fine well.
Yeah, but yours ain't 70 years old, Ricky.
No, but I bet his has been used more than the 70-year-old man's one.
No, do you know something? Honestly, though, come on, like, wind your neck in, kids. Do you know what I'm saying? Lewis, it's kind of horrible because he was so vulnerable. Do you know what I'm saying? Gary was, like, really, really vulnerable. And I don't think he should have been put in a situation like that. And we've said it before, every single housemate that was in that house alongside Gary, basically we were carers. Yeah. So that's the long and short of it, to be fair. But it wasn't kind of all bad because I had many of amazing conversations with him. He was the font of all knowledge. Do you know what I mean?
He was interesting to talk to.
Yeah.
On a daily, not on a daily basis, on a small, but then he would wander off, and he believed in these. I don't know.
He's very spiritual, Kelly. He's very spiritual. Yeah. Every conversation led to a spirit. He believed that he'd had like 74 lives. But in saying what Dee's saying, though, I disagree with what Dee's saying because I think he's a lot more intelligent. He knew the system, and it was one night.
I think he played us all.
He played it very well, but it was one night that we sat there in his pajamas, and I can't remember who said to him all, and they were like, "Oh, are you going to get ready because it's eviction night?" And he was sat there saying, "Oh, it's in my contract. I'm here at the final." So that rubbed everyone in the house up the wrong way.
No, that's the word was in my contract that I'm going to win this. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Wow.
Dee and I commented on that.
Yeah.
So do you think that's why he won it? Because I remember when he won the show, a lot of people, especially on social media, didn't understand because he wasn't the bookies' favourites from the beginning, especially throughout the series. Why do you think he won the show? Do you think could it have been part of a contract?
No. So when it comes to reality TV, Lewis, I think I can speak more from the reality TV point of view because I've done a lot more reality TV. But you can, especially the way that everyone was aiming towards him, it looked like everyone was bullying him, but they weren't whatsoever. But to use that as a sort of a play for, you've got 24 hours in a day and they can only take bits and they need some drama and they need some screenplay and they need people to act and do things, relationships, arguments, fallouts, who's liking who, that kind of thing. And that sense of direction, I think when Channel 5 saw that sense of direction of being like, well, no one's getting along with them and everyone's sort of hating them, that sort of point them in a direction, be like, oh, well, we can spin this and we can go with that sort of direction. Being
Yeah,
like,
I don't
well,
think everyone hated him. I just think it was.
No one hated him. Yeah.
I think it was his cleanliness. I think we were concerned about.
Yeah.
You know, we were in this environment altogether, and for me, it was very strange because I'd never been. This was the first time I'd been out in public and really got back into mixing with people.
oh, yeah,
And you know, it was. I mean, I needed help. If it wasn't for Dee, I wouldn't have lasted that long. I mean, if anyone had more arguments, look at me. There was what's my little friend's name? The first
Leslie.
Oh, Leslie.
There was Leslie. there was Frenchie. I mean, you haven't stopped me and Frenchie from having a major argument.
I did. I was like a security guard in there. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like Kelly saying that, but if it weren't for me, Ricky would have been out on the third day as well.
And then there was the famous wannabe dancer James Jordan. I mean, you know, God. I mean, please. I would love to have. If they had said to me, Kelly,
Go on, Kelly, give it. Go on, Kelly, give it.
I would have asked
give
for
it, Kelly.
Yeah, when they put him in that bubble with,
give it, Kelly.
I wanted to go in that bubble.
Give it. Go on, speak your feelings. Let them all out now. You're in a safe place.
I
just loved everybody, Lewis.
Oh, you didn't, man. You lying son of a bitch.
You know what? He was. Well, I'm not going to say anything.
Miss, I want to come across really well.
There's something, right, honest to God, this is like you take it to the other level. I had a bed, right? Everybody was given a bed, blah, blah, blah. No one said that. I had Ricky in mind, Lauren in mind, Frenchie in mind, because everyone was going to lynch Frenchie. So I had to say, get into my bed, stay in my bed. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of like...
make you go both ways in your sexual behaviour?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'll take anything nowadays, Kat.
I mean, do you know, as a fan watching the show in your series, I mean, it's Frenchie, for instance, someone very entertaining, but to get scissors and cut someone's shorts, it's not behaviour that I would feel comfortable living with. And I mean, Leslie's reaction was amazing. You know, in a diary, my life's in danger, pointing to his shorts. What was it like to be
his
around?
best silk shorts. Remember, they were his best silk boxers.
Yeah, he freaked out. He freaked.
It completely came out of the blue, didn't it? It's like, we didn't know she'd done it. We didn't know why she'd done it. We just had Leslie screaming because, like, his little silk boxes. And it's kind of like, we're just standing there and we're like, what on earth has happened?
You
and
know
then
what?
he wanted to kill her.
But you know what? If I had to pick a winner out of that, I would have picked Leslie. I thought Leslie should have won that. He was the most entertaining. You know, I mean, there was just something about Leslie.
I'm with you, Gillet. I thought, especially when he called her a stinking French slut in that accent that he's got. He's the little guy and he's walking up to her. I saw you, and he was nuts.
No, he was. I like Leslie. I know I had that argument instantly with him because, like, but after that, I mean, I called him a drama queen, didn't I? And I punched his lights out.
That's another fight I had to try and break up. Yeah.
You know, I was very mixed up. I mean, I put my hand on my heart and then say I shouldn't have gone in the house. I wasn't ready to go in that house. I came out stronger than I went in. I went in very well. I remember the first night. I don't remember the first night, but someone keeps reminding me about the first night.
Honest to God, Lewis, the first night we went into, you know, opening night, whatever you call it, launch night, and we go in, we're all getting ready for bed. And I'm like, turn around, I says, hang on a minute. I says, where's Kelly? Because her bed was just completely empty. So we had to search the house for Kelly, who was unconscious on the chaise lounge in the bathroom. I can't even remember. It was me and someone else who ended up having to carry her from the bathroom. She was intoxicated.
I mean, Dee, one of the best moments was, I think it was launch night, where Leslie Jordan genuinely thought you're part of the royal family, and his eyes just lit up when he was looking at you, but then was majorly disappointed when he found out you weren't.
I think it's because I just ooze royalty, don't I? It's like, what are you laughing at? It's kind of like...
With that Brummy accent.
Yeah.
You ooze it. You ooze it.
I think, you know, I mean, who wouldn't look at this and think, yeah, definitely related to the royal family? You know, I got bitten by a corgi.
you carried it off very well.
Thank you, Kelly.
I don't think you did.
Yeah, well, you're just a div, ain't you? So.
But on the whole, you was suggesting there was a bit of wallpaper, weren't you? Charm, you know, for the girls to look at.
Thank you,
oh
Kelly.
my God!
Thank
But
you,
did
Kelly.
you look at him
Well, you
every
know.
morning when the blind,
You know.
the shutters went up, Lewis? I used to turn over in my bed, and oh my God, out on the patch of grass right by the window was our Ricci and David McIntosh. Oh my days!
Oh yeah, bad boys for life.
I used to work out
boys.
every morning. But
Yeah.
without Ricci was my personal hairdresser, weren't you, Ricky? You used to do my hair.
Did your hair every day? Oh yes.
Yes.
Real sweet, real sexy, real tasty.
Ricky, do you think because you had a background in reality television, obviously you said then you kind of know how they can spin it in any direction that they want. Would you say you had a better knowledge of reality TV and kind of help other people?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But
and it was I was actually just going through my transitioning. So for me, it was a very important thing that I was in the front room of 2.4 million, because I think we peaked at about 2.6 at one time. I think we had one of the highest viewing figures. To be
Serious?
Seriously, yeah.
Do you know the amount of people that say that our series was really good? But do you not find that living it was kind of boring? Because I often thought to myself, oh my God, we must be so boring to watch.
You weren't boring to watch.
When you think of when you think of all the romantics, Ricci trying to hit it off with our friend from Essex, Nicholls.
No, she wanted me.
And then we had,
I never chased that. She wanted me. You guys know it.
And then we had George trying to hit it off with Stephanie, the American.
But no, Lewis, going back to your question about the reality TV thing as well, it's kind of like you do have an aspect of when you know that the cameras are there, you know what the cameras want, that kind of thing. But to be honest with you, when I went in there as well, the lack of food that we all got in that first 10 days, I was absolutely, and the reason why they do that is to make you short-tempered and angry. We had the same in Geordie Shore as well. So I knew exactly what I was doing. But with me, it just made me really goddamn tired with no energy.
We couldn't win a shopping task for love nor money, not even a basic counting one, Lewis.
What about alcohol? Yeah, no alcohol.
I was going to say as well, in regards to the alcohol, Lewis, as well, I remember sitting in the diary room saying, what the hell have you stuck a 27-year-old party boy in this house with no tools? Because the alcohol was just non-existent. Like, it was pointless. So the fact of the matter, we were getting no food. And then the one thing you were looking forward to on the night time was getting that alcohol, having a bit of fun. There was hardly any alcohol. Once it was done, it was like, well, okay, well, what to do now?
Yeah.
But
the little bit of alcohol they did get, him and David McIntosh cut up our only chicken in the middle of the night and went out and deep fried it while we were all asleep.
Hey, don't you badmouth us like that. Don't you dare.
When our first packet of chocolate biscuits, it was like having sex.
You wouldn't know what that feels like because you're still a virgin, apparently.
On my gravestone, returned unopened.
Good. And
Lewis, let me tell you, I've never, honest to God, I mean, I taught Ricci and James how to make a cottage pie. Do you remember?
No.
Oh, you're such a div. You did. I taught you how to cook.
The only thing I remember eating is that we used to get a little bit of bread all day to eat, Lewis. Like, do you remember?
Because I made the bread.
We used to have one little tiny piece of bread all day to eat. And I remember I was sleeping most of the day, every day, and the alarms kept going off because I was wanting to sleep because I was just like, there's nothing to do. I've got no energy. Like, we had no energy to do something. And then when there was a task, like for 1 hour a day, we were expected to switch the buttons and then just like go into it. But physically, I don't think many of us had any energy to do anything. I think we didn't have food for like the first 11 days or 12 days. Yeah. We had nothing, absolutely nothing.
We never won one task, did we?
No, absolutely.
You had the best out of that. Kelly, one thing I wanted to speak to you about was when you went into the house, you saw Audley in there, who you had known prior, before going into the house, before your transition. So how was that for you? Because you two had a close relationship, you knew him very well. Was it kind of a difficult situation for you?
Do you know what? I honestly don't know because I was so drunk going into the house. I was at the verge of not going into the house when the car pulled up and you have to get out. I was like freaking out and panicking, and I think if I hadn't drunk 3.5 bottles of wine and taken a couple of calming tablets, I would not have gone in that house. I would have got that. But I had a counsellor sitting beside me, like talking to me, and I don't know. I remember going in and seeing Audley Harrison, and I think it might. I've watched 2 parts of Big Brother. I've not really watched myself in the Big Brother house because I've had feedback from my daughters, but I watched 2 parts. I watched the part where I went down the stairs and Audley came in and he sort of went, do I call you Frank or Kelly? And I went, well, if you want to get paid in your next fight, you best start calling me Kelly. And that's all I sort of remember. I honestly, to be truthful, I don't remember a lot. I felt protected. Dee was very protective, and so was it Claire? Claire,
Claire, it was Claire.
And Adele was very good to me. They were all, and so was Lauren as well. But I think Lauren had her own issues to deal with. I think we were a house full of issues. All of us.
I had no issues. I just wanted to. I've got them now. I didn't have any going in.
That's what happens when you stay in there. See, I've come out of that in the issues. I went in with the issues.
No, with you, Dee, it was so nice to watch because you were like the mum of the house. A lot of people would come to you for advice and you were just so easygoing. It was impossible not to get on with you. I think you just had a big heart. You were genuine. You didn't bitch about anyone. You'd say it to their face. And Ricci, I thought you were the same. You were so calming around other people.
I think it's like a lot of people were, and that's it's kind of like I do, and this is what, when I came out and I was aware like a lot of people have thought, we're going on about I used to bully Gary. I couldn't really see it myself because that's not in my nature. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's but I do think we were in a brilliant house, and it's got, it is my nature to mother people.
Dee,
and I don't care.
You made the best cup of tea ever. We drank more cups of tea than anyone I know, Dee and me. We used to have a cup of tea.
Honestly, God. But it's in your nature. It's kind of like, because that's what I'm like. But I did an awful lot of the cooking because I cook. Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like I was in there with a lot of people who couldn't cook. I introduced the whole world to drinking OXO out of a cup when we were so hungry we had nothing to eat. And that's just my nature, to be fair. And it's kind of like, I'm still like that now. Like, I'm very protective over Kelly. I'm very protective over Ricci. Do you know what I'm saying? It's I can't help myself.
But we must give a little bit of credit to Audley. He did do some cooking.
Yeah, Audley, it was like me and Audley spent an awful lot of time in the kitchen. And it's kind of like, but Audley was amazing. Do you know what I'm saying? He's an absolutely fantastic man. And I think, were you talking about the time when, I think they did put Kelly and Audley in there because of their previous history. But it's kind of like, a lot of people, the past is the past.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, and that was their time. But they dealt with it like adults. They didn't go in thinking, you did me bad 20 years ago, I'm not going to knock you out kind of thing. They tackled it all by by being adults, and the relationship between them was brilliant. It was lovely.
I think Audley had a bit more trouble dealing with Kelly because he
knew you as Frank.
Yeah, he knew Miss Frank, guy that's. And I'll be honest, one of the guys that done their utmost, and I openly admitted to this on Big Brother. We done our utmost to bring Audley Harrison's career down because he tried to change the face of boxing by not using a promoter and by doing it all himself. So to us, that was like, we can't have this because if that happens, promoters are out of business. And you're right, Dee. We talked about it. We got on well.
Nice nails, Kelly. Nice nails. I like them.
You said you got nice nails.
I like your nails. Your nails, beautiful.
Listen, you had your chance. You had your chance to take my virginity, and so you're not getting it.
No, Dee, one moment I'll never forget was when it was you and Gary, and you had just had enough, and you were right there to his face, and you were, what did you just say? And they had to call you to the diary room. You were that.
It was kind of the last week that was, Lewis. Yeah. And I think everything had just totally got on top of me. It was kind of like, and this is what you didn't see. He used to block you off and sort of back you into a corner. I was exposed to. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want to be in something and have someone exposed, because if I was out on the street, I would have knocked them right out. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, you know, Kelly would have signed me up. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing. It got really uncomfortable. It was like walking around naked, exposing himself. Obviously, the personal hygiene, backing you into a corner. It was really unnerving. And obviously, I'm not the most, you know, I do suffer really bad with my mental health. And I think I just snapped. It's the same as everybody. I just snapped. There's only so much. When you ask someone to, please, can you leave my personal space, and they keep coming towards you.
Lewis, I will say in there as well, as much as what Dee's saying as well, you've got to understand, in the house, it's like a pressure cooker. And I understand this from the Geordie Shore days, and everyone got a really good feeling of it in Big Brother as well, because you're living in such a close proximity with each other. And things build and things build and things build, and then they just pop. So what Dee's saying as well, I mean, it's exactly what Geordie, I mean, obviously when we're on Geordie Shore, there's fights happening and arguments happen every 2 seconds because of the alcohol. But as well, you haven't got your own bed in there, you're not sleeping properly, you're waking up with the same people in the same rooms with no food, with drinking every night and that kind of stuff in Big Brother. And there's only so much you can take. And with what Dee's saying as well, having that person that's doing that every single day, it annoys you a little bit more, then annoys you a little bit more, and annoys you, and then you're going to snap at some point. I think people don't really understand that from watching from the outside point of view as well, because they'll see someone maybe argue with someone after 2 weeks and they'll be like, oh, why are they doing that? That's a bit rude of them, that's a bit nasty of them, but they don't really understand being in that. It's exactly what we were saying, Geordie Shore, it's a pressure cooker. And at some point you're going to pop.
Smaller as well, isn't it? It's like, I mean, I've watched it for years. But when you actually go in there, you're like, oh my God, this house is kind of tiny compared to what you see on the television. Because like, if you open one door, you've got another door. You couldn't go anywhere to sort of escape anybody. And that was kind of like, I think what it was just too much. I don't like people in my face.
And the other thing with it, I think it is the most sort of human behaviour. The amount of tapes and films they must have and watching, because you don't see us for 24 hours, which is, I think, is bad, because they edit it to suit what they want. But if you saw the whole 24 hours like the original program, you would see how people behave, and it is very strange to what people, you know, even at one time I found out that fancy foot, what's his name, dancer, James, didn't like spiders. So I went hunting for spiders to put into his bed, but I couldn't find none.
Kelly Maloney.
No, seriously. And do you know why? The only reason I took a disliking to him was he'd never met Frank Maloney. And he always made a reference to calling me Frank. And then he'd go, oh, sorry, I meant Kelly. But he'd never met Frank Maloney.
That's what we were saying. It's like earlier. It's like, to me, and people have always said, to me, you're always going to be Kelly, because I only know you as Kelly. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, and I suppose, see what you're right. I could see it with Audley, because Audley knew you as Frank.
Yeah, I knew, and I could deal with Audley because he was genuine.
No one else knew you as
Audley, but everyone else, other than him, referred to me only as Kelly. But he done it all the time to annoy, and that's why I really have no time for the man, because I think he's an arrogant arsehole. That's it.
That's it.
You've obviously remained close after the show, then.
Sorry?
You've obviously remained close after the show.
No, and this is quite true, right? At the after party in where it was, remember the party? They had to put security guard line between him and me, because he came over to make the peace, and I told him to get out of my face, or I would. It really got.
This needs to be filmed.
I think security was busy that night because they had to keep me away from Gary Boosie's wife.
Well, no, you know, and I mean, I've got now he doesn't even exist in my life, you know. I mean, I sometimes, you know, he did try and contact me when it's all, could we meet for coffee? But I think he was setting me up for a PR job to have a pet, you know, so I refused to go. I live a very quiet life now. I'm what, you know, I thought, you know what, I've done enough. All that public life drives you mad. I live a very peaceful life here in Portugal.
You actually really do. You're very content, aren't you, Cal?
Yeah, which Dee knows, you know, and I mean, I've got a documentary that's just gone out on Amazon Prime, Frank to Kelly, which is really doing well.
Sell it, Kelly. Sell it, Kelly.
Selling it. And
Sell
I'm
it.
just thinking of
Sell it.
who's heard of who saw The Irishman?
Yes, I've seen it, yeah.
Right, the executive director on there, Chad Vardy, well famous. He also made a film called The Bolt, and he also made a film called Bleed for This. They're really doing well. He's doing a feature documentary on me, him and his team.
Speaking about films, Kelly, I'm sure I was in a film for 2017, Universal Pictures. I went to cinemas. You might have seen it.
It's weird that you could mention that, Ricky, because I also have been in a film which was actually twice BAFTA nominated.
Have you? What role did you play? The Duchess?
No, it was
The toilet cleaner. It was a true life story about a famous photographer, and I played his not very nice mum. It's called Ray and Liz. Google it. Multi-award-winning movie.
I'm going to Google it tonight. I'm going to put that on next.
I bet you the movie was as good as that haircut as well, Dee.
He is unreal to you. Before we go into what you do now, because I want to talk about life after Big Brother and your kind of new projects, but I've got 2 questions for each of you. So we'll start with Dee, which is what stands out as your funniest moment that you can remember from Big Brother, and what was your toughest moment?
So one of the funniest moments, and I don't actually know if they showed it, was like when we were taking part in a task, right? And we had to go to a little task room. And an alarm sounded. Now, I had to run from the bloody bedroom to the complete opposite side of the house. That little shit there opened the door and was going quicker, and pushed me. And you know, like when your mind goes in slow motion, and I was actually slow motion, like dropping, and I thought, shit, I'm going.
Yes.
So Ricci did give me carpet burns during my time.
Right, I did. Right. How many of them you had, eh? Oh, yeah.
What was the other one?
Then what was your toughest moment? Something you found kind of difficult to deal with?
The toughest one was obviously for me was it was not seeing my kids. It was you know, it's kind of like it was just not seeing my kids, because I've never ever spent a day without seeing my children. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, because don't forget, from the Benefit Street documentary to going in the Big Brother house, it was only a matter of 6 months. So my world had blown up and blah, blah, blah. And I was just so worried. And I really, really did miss the kids.
And then Ricci, what about you? What stands out as like a funny moment that you always remember? And then what did you find difficult?
Funniest was me and David they actually stopped me and David going to the diary room. Like, I'm not even kidding you. We went in there. I remember me and Dave went in there one night and we absolutely blew it up, and we were absolutely fucking hilarious, like beyond belief. And I don't know why after that, I don't think I went to the diary room. I think I went once after that, and that was it done. That was it done.
That would have been TV gold.
What, if you pressed the button?
Honestly, me and David together was just, I mean, we're still exactly the same now, but it's like you've got no better combination. There's been no better combination since Miami Vice. Seriously.
No.
Seriously, I'm not even joking.
Let you in. You push the button for the diary room, but they'd only let you in if they wanted to let you in, Lewis.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And 3 hours later, you've moved on when you're still waiting for him to open the bloody door.
Toughest moment was when David left, 1,000,000%. It's only because because we were the 2 young lads in the house, and the banter that we were having each day with each other was kind of like when he left. And the weirdest thing, he was just like, yeah, I want to go see my baby girl. I've got my paycheck. I want to get out of here. That was basically, he was like, right, sweet. I'm not bothered about how far I go. He just wanted out. But then after me, he was who I was. Being the 2 young lads in the house, you're obviously going to connect. And our personalities, I mean, as soon as we left Big Brother as well, we spent 4 months with each other. I mean, me doing PAs and us living in hotels in London and, you know, getting up to no good. And
Can I ask you, Rick, can I ask you, was it intimate, the 4 months?
Of course it was.
There was a lot of intimacy, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm joking. But no, it was hard when he left, but yeah, we got on with it. But I mean,
All right,
the whole house was hard, really. The whole
David
house
was
was
a really nice guy, though, wasn't he? I mean, yeah.
Look, one of the nicest guys, I think. Obviously, a bit nicer than Ricci, to be fair. I mean, I've had intimacy with them both since the shows.
Oh yeah.
I've had more.
Oh yeah.
Ricci, do you know what I mean? And I think it is about time I had to change. No, and that's what I'm saying, Lewis. If you saw the both of them together, it was just
no better combo.
Yeah.
And then Kelly, what about you? What stands out as your funniest moment? Something that you always think back that makes you laugh?
I really don't know. I think one of the funniest when I came out and saw the Daily Star headlines, Ricci giving me a cuddle, telling me, and it was. Do you remember that? And my daughters went.
Kelly, the funny thing is, when I was in there, my nana's done exactly the same with Geordie Shore. She's built it like with all the headlines and papers and stuff like that. I've got a huge booklet of the Geordie Shore papers and stuff like that she cuts out and glues. And when I got the Big Brother one when I came out, one of the first ones is me and you saying, "Oh, there's romance between us both." Yeah. I mean, I think I had romance with Adele, Lauren. I don't think there was any woman in the house I didn't have a romance with.
Ricci, a threesome.
Yeah.
Page the Daily Star, and I can't remember. My daughters went, "Did you and him really do anything?" Don't be so stupid, you know. And I never. And it was, at the time, it was nice because I was very vulnerable. I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah, of course,
that all the time.
Yeah.
And Ricci and George and David was very good because I like keeping fit. So David.
Oh, don't you worry, Kelly. You're fit. You're fit, girl.
Thank you. You know what? Them doctors work wonders. I've now got no.
I know. Tell me about it. I'm on my third nose job next month.
You liar! Yeah.
And I think one of the hardest moments was when Audley nominated me because he said he didn't feel comfortable with me in the pool, sitting in the jacuzzi, and that really freaked me out because it and I think from I lost it a bit with Audley, but I will say in Audley's defence, I was coming down from the Big Brother house because I was called up there because I think people my lawyers were watching it, and I had counsellors because I was allowed to have counsellors, and I'm sure some of the others was what I'd speak, and they brought it up as a transphobia issue, and tried to make an issue of it, and it wasn't. No, and when I came down the stairs, Audley was at the bottom of the stairs, and he said to me, "I want to talk to you, Kelly," and I went, "Yeah," and I said, "What about it?" He went, and I went, "No, Audley, I don't want to talk to you." I said, "What you've done was wrong. You don't understand what I'm going through." And I turned to him, and this was shown on television, and I know, and I've seen the reports that was written in papers, and I thought it was a very magical moment. I went, "Audley, let me put it this way. What if I nominated you?" And they said, "Why did I nominate you?" And I went, "I feel uncomfortable with you sitting in the bar because you're a black guy." And he looked at me and he went, "Do you know what, Kelly, you're right. I've had prejudice all my life." And he gave me the biggest cuddle, and I cried my eyes out. And from that moment, I think that was such a big moment on TV because it made people realise. And to me, that was me winning Big Brother because I turned someone who had this transphobia complex, not turned them. And I don't think he had a proper transfer, but didn't understand what I was going through or understand what a lot of people like me were going through. And I think it changed. It was big because when I came out after, his wife came up and thanked me. Because his wife runs a beauty salon in Los Angeles, isn't it? Or less? Yeah. Is it? Yeah.
Miami,
and she said, "Is it wherever? It's a very nice place." And she said to me, "Do you know what? Audley has spoken to me, and he said he's so understanding of your situation because she said I have quite a few transgender clients, and Audley doesn't talk to them, but now he's going to come back and start talking." So to me, that was such a critical moment in the Big Brother.
So now what I'm going to do is talk to you about what life's been like since leaving the house and any upcoming projects or current projects that you're working on. So Dee, obviously going into the house, we knew you was the star of Benefit Street.
1 minute for Dee, 2 minutes for Kelly. I hope we've got about an hour for myself.
I'll tell you what, Ricci, you're definitely not skipping arm day at the minute. You're whammed at the moment.
Bro, I am packing. Absolutely packing.
Too much isolation, Lewis.
Yo, I've told David as well, watch out. He said, bro, because me and David went down and get some aesthetics and, you know, get the Botox and stuff last week. And he's like, bro, you're looking big. I was like, I'm catching you, brother. I'm catching you.
Like
so,
Hulk Hogan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So Dee, yeah, obviously you're best known for Benefit Street going into the house. So what's life been like since, you know, what projects have you been working on and what are you doing at the moment?
Very much the same, to be fair.
Well, as you can see behind me, balls to cancer. Please donate, balls to cancer.
Shut up. Yeah, so obviously I'm a proud ambassador for the charity Balls to Cancer. And obviously we do a weekly Ask Auntie D session. My son's going to look over the screen in a minute and really all you'll see is afro hair. So that's great. So I'm getting to interview some amazing people. So that's like every Thursday. And then obviously I've got me and a friend of mine, we've set up a group in Birmingham called Birmingham Says No to Knife Crime and Youth Violence. Youth violence and knife crime is so on the rise at the moment, Lewis. It's actually really, really scary. So what we do is we put on free events for young people out there, just, you know, to break down the barriers of the postcode wars and gangs, and just to say, you know, we found young people, you know, jobs, we found young people places to live. We've given them recording studio, things that aren't available to them. That's what we as a group, you know, we do try and do. And yes, and there's another couple of documentaries in the pipeline, but obviously I can't tell you too much about them at the moment. But yes,
it's a teaser. It's a teaser. It's a teaser.
Ricky, what about you? So what's life been, because obviously you're best known for Geordie Shore legend. So what's life been like since leaving the house, projects you've been working on?
Yes, I moved to Australia for a year. Did a hell of a lot of PAs over there. I mean, it's huge over there. It's crazy. But did an Australian film called Bo. Since then, started DJing a few years ago. Started doing a load of music. So one of our tracks that me and one of my best friends, Josh, are doing, it's got signed to King Street from New York. It's one of the biggest new labels in New York. So that gets released in November. To have people like Roger Sanchez on and stuff like that. But just waiting to go back to Australia, mate, to be honest with you. There's another Chris Sun film that I was supposed to be doing beginning of next year, but it all depends on the, obviously the what you call it, the
COVID.
No, the COVID. Yeah, but it's whether obviously people can start traveling again and stuff like that. But just TV shows and just music now, mate, to be honest with you. And obviously doing films. So there's two. I was supposed to be doing a drama series in Australia at the beginning of the year, but obviously that got pushed back. So it's just the same old, really. I mean, reality TV is always going to be there and stuff, but with DJing now, it's kind of like, absolutely love making music. It's absolute. And the thing is, as well, we've got so much time in between when you do a film. I can do that now. When you do a film and when you do a reality TV show as well, you've got so much time, and PAs were sort of drying up in a sense of doing normal PAs for everyone. So with DJing now, it sort of fills that gap that we would have for such a long period of time, and something that I enjoy doing as well. So, and you make good money. So that's the main thing. But yeah, just waiting to go back to Australia, because that's where all the TV and the films, and that's where the money is for me anyway.
So I've got to say, I know you wind up like Dee and Kellie and stuff, but genuinely, Dee will probably agree, you come across as such a gentleman. Like, you don't judge anyone. You're just a real nice guy. Like,
oh, thank you, Lou.
Comes across.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're making me blush.
Kelly's got no comment there.
You're making me blush.
I think I'd save it.
So, Kelly, what's life been like for you since Big Brother? What projects have you been working on, and have you got anything that you're working on right now?
Yeah, I do a lot of public speaking. I've done quite a lot when I came out. I was on quite a lot of shows and that, and I don't really like TV, if I'm honest. It's not. I I like building careers like I did in my boxing business. I've gone back into boxing. I manage a couple of girl fighters, which I'm sort of
Go on, Kel.
not in the way I did before. I've just had a documentary released on Amazon Prime from Frank to Kelly. I'm filming a documentary with the people I've said, Chaz Vardy, Ricci, Laser, and they are going to turn it. It's a 90-minute feature documentary, and they're using new techniques because they've actually got an actress playing me. And I've met her.
Who's going to play me, Cal?
No, you're in the feature film. We'll get into the feature film.
You're cleaning those toilets, remember? That's all you're doing.
You're the tea lady. And I had a lovely visit from Dee. She came out to Portugal because I do work for a charity in Portugal. It's a children's place. It's called the Algarve Centre. It's for children and adults with special needs or learning disabilities. And it's a fantastic place. When you go there, you actually realise how lucky you are and how lucky you be to watch your children grow up. You know, I've made some great friends.
It's the only actual place of its kind, isn't it, Kelly? Yeah. And it's like, do you know what I mean? It's like no matter what the disability, no matter what the special need, they cater for it there. And it's kind of like along the mindset, why shouldn't disabled children be able to have a holiday abroad? Oh, the centre is just beautiful, and the people that run it are absolutely amazing. And it's like,
and we done I got Dee involved, and she came out, and we done a weekend of filming for them. And you get to talk to the parents. And I met this really lovely family from Essex, and the mum. And I'm not going to say the names because they always say me, what am I doing? So I'll tell them about this and they'll watch this. But the mum, she said if it wasn't for the centre, her marriage would have been over.
Wow.
And Dee heard so because she's got a lovely son. He's the loveliest kid in the world. He's 21, but he's got the mental age of a 5-year-old. So, and she couldn't take him anywhere on holiday, but she can come to this place. Well, and Dee interviewed a lovely family when you was out there, didn't you, Dee? I think
project? It is because part of the problem is as well, if you go to like a normal holiday resort or anything like that, if you've got, all disabilities aren't visible. So if you've got like a 19-year-old boy who's throwing a tantrum, then other people you do automatically look and judge and blah, blah, blah. And that's why this said there does need to be more centres like it, because you can go there and your 19-year-old son can throw a plate. It's a plastic plate. He can do what he wants. He can have his temper tantrum, but no one's going to look at him any different. And that's why the Centre Algarve is so amazing. It really is.
And see, I have that problem all the time, Lewis. I mean, people look at me and think, how goddamn raging is he? He's so goddamn beautiful. So raging. He must be the cause of global warming. I'm joking.
You know what, Rick? I'm really thinking I want to lose my virginity to you.
Oh yeah. Come on, baby. Come to me, baby.
No, just touching upon what Kelly said about being in the film and meeting the person that played you. Just very quickly, as the last question, if you could have, who do you think could play you in a film if there was a film about your life? So starting with Dee, who do you think could play you?
Come back to me.
Okay, Ricci.
Only
Bradley.
Only because I speak like him sometimes. Sylvester Stallone. I speak out the side of my mouth. I sound like him as well.
I thought you were going to say Paul Gascoigne.
I think the ideal person to play me in a film would be The Rock.
I didn't see that coming. Why The Rock?
Well, we're kind of the same body build. We've got the same kind of sense of humour. The Rock.
Got the same haircut as well, Dee.
Dee, I thought you'd say something like Shakira.
Do you know, I've put on a couple of pounds since lockdown. Do you know what I mean? If this is pre-lockdown, it would have definitely been Shakira.
And Kelly, who do you think would play you if you could choose?
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Same size.
I've got honestly, I want to thank you all for coming on today. Genuinely, it's been one of the favourite shows that I've done because you're all such, you give a lot back, and that's really refreshing to see. Like, Dee,
I love giving to the people. I love giving to the people.
You give it to people in a different way.
Yeah, watch his inbox now, Lewis. Bing, 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 bing.
No, honestly, thank you.
He's such a bag.
You must bring Rick to Portugal, to the centre, and we'll have a lot.
Oh, she's putting in the comment now. I'm right there, baby girl.
If we could have a great weekend of just partying over here, because you know I live in the
problem.
During the day, Dee knows I live in the middle of nowhere. I've got no neighbours. I've got 2 goats, 4 chickens, and 3 dogs. It's great.
Oi, oi.
Ricky's buzzing now. No, thank you so much for coming on. Honestly, because I know you're all busy and you've taken the time today. So thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it.
I think this just proves that us 3 are busy, Lewis. Do you know?
I'm goddamn busy, girl. I'm busy.
What's that film? No, what's that film? Dee, I want to watch it. What's it called?
Called Ray and Liz Kelly, not Ray and Liz Kelly. It's just
Boar.
Ray and Liz.
Boar. Boar. 2007.
Okay, I'm gonna watch the 2 films.
Crap. Yeah, a multi-award winning, twice BAFTA nominated film.
Universal Pictures worldwide takeover, over 100 countries worldwide. Beat it.
Amazon Prime, and the reviews are fantastic. I'd like to know what you think. If anyone watches it, please message me. Let me know what you think.
I love you, Kelly.
Same here.
I love me too. Rick,
I'm saving my virginity till the day you arrive.
Piece of rum, Ricky.
No, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Yeah.
Cheers, Lewis. Thank you, mate.
You're welcome.
There we go. Thank you so much for watching the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It will mean a lot. Don't forget to come back next Monday for a new episode of Celebrity Big Brother Reunions with 3 more celebrities who will talk about their time in the house and much more. The lineup will be revealed on my Instagram page during the week, so follow that at Lewis J. Nicholls. Thanks.